Hello and welcome back to part 3, and this is going to be on the Squid web proxy, which is our third assignment. So again, my name is Alex, part of Computer Science 471 at Cal State Fullerton. I was with Group Titan, and our third assignment was to work with a GNU piece of software called Squid. And Squid is another web proxy, as we have talked about, or similar to the one that we did for our very first assignment, which was for us to make our own web proxy. So this one is already made. It has all these features, bells and whistles, and it's extremely robust and very beneficial. And the whole point of this assignment was to demonstrate yet another application of web proxy. This one is not entirely obvious, but as I'm about to demonstrate, it is actually quite powerful. So again, just to remind you, web proxy is an intermediary between a user machine and the internet. The user will access the proxy, which the proxy will, on behalf of the user, go out to the internet, retrieve a payload, and return it back to the user. Oftentimes this is done over different port numbers. So port number 80 being often reserved for web traffic, a user will actually access a proxy with a different port number as determined by the proxy. And then the proxy will, on behalf of the user, go out over port 80, retrieve the payload from the internet, and then return it back to the user over the pre-established port. So let's just go ahead and take a look at what I'm talking about here. So let's go ahead and just take a look at this shell script that we had to write for our program, or excuse me, for our project. And this shell script essentially uses the wget method and the time function to time how long it takes to download. In this case, it's 10. Let's change this to 5. Let's just download 5 files. So we're going to download 5 of the same file. And this is going to be without the web proxy. So as you can see, this is just a straight wget method. And we're going to go ahead and let me just write this out really fast, write out to that. And we're going to exit. Okay, so in this example, we're not going to be using the web proxy, so pretend this is not here. So as the user, we're going to go out to the internet, we're going to retrieve the payload, and the internet's going to return the payload. So what's not pictured here are all the link switches and all the routers that our TCP message that we're going to send out, or HTTP, is going to have to traverse in order to get to that payload. So just imagine from here to, I don't know, let's say like India, it's going to have to travel quite a distance just to retrieve this one file. So imagine doing that 5 times. Well, we're going to see firsthand how long that actually takes. And so let's go ahead and just run our script. So it's downloading the file right now, and as soon as it's done, it's gonna print a time in the terminal window with how long it took to obtain the file. So as you can see, the first one was about 11.5 seconds, and this is going to continue for 4 more times, as according to our for loop. And yes, so as you can see, we're still waiting for files. And again, this is without the web proxy, so every time these numbers pop up, that's a successful round trip of the packets containing this file being delivered to our computer, having been fully complete. So of course this whole process is happening in segments or in spurts, and is not like the whole file, but it's getting transferred one by one by one by one, and every packet is getting sent and retrieved and all this good stuff. Okay, so we're done. We have 5 files, and yeah, so as you can see, the fastest time was 11.38 seconds. So now let's see what happens when we use our proxy. So first of all, let's just take a quick look at the script here, and I had that as DL1, or just DL. So same syntax. I have this actually going for 100 files, and we're actually going to see how powerful this is. But the main difference is that we use the wget method, but we use -e with HTTP proxy, which I believe is a syntax inside of Squid, and or excuse me, it's an argument. So we're assigning HTTP proxy to be localhost over the port 8080, And just remember from our first example in the first video, assignment 1, we used localhost 8888. So in this example, we're using 8080. So let's take a look at the performance. So again, this is going to be for 100 files. You know what? That's going to be a little too long. Let's just make it 50. Whoops, that's the wrong one. Let's make it 50, and you'll see immediately that it is still going to be really fast. So got that written. So let's go ahead and run this script /dl.sh. So fractions of a second. Each file is downloading very quickly. So how is this possible? Essentially what's happening, the Squid proxy is going out to the internet. It is retrieving the payload, but it's caching it, saving it within its own personal memory hardware or software. It's actually software. And which is actually, well, our user machine is hosting the proxy, so technically it's storing it on our user machine. But what it's doing is it's going out to the internet, it retrieves one of the files, it caches it, and all it's doing is instead of our user machine having to go all the way to the internet and all the way back, it's going to the proxy. The proxy says, hey, I have that file. And it just says, here's the file, here's the file, here's the file, here's the file. So it's serving us the file that took us 11 seconds. It's doing it in about a third of a second, which is incredibly fast. So yeah, that's yet another example or another application of web proxy. As you can see, that's extremely valuable. It'd be great for any business that does any sort of file distribution, any sort of I don't know, like video game company that has constant updates. It can use this web proxy technology in order to speed up its updating process or anything like that. So again, this was our third assignment using the Squid proxy, and we just wrote simple shell scripts to demonstrate what it would be like to download a file without it and with it. And as you can see, caching the file inside of the proxy and then just having the proxy send it back to us is extremely fast. And just to give you an idea of how fast, I actually have a little Excel file here just with the chart, and of course, as you can see, comparing the orange to the blue, the orange being with the web proxy, the blue being without, the file download times are just, it's like extremely fast, almost 10 times faster, actually more than 10 times faster. And yeah, so I mean, to download those 50 files without the proxy, this is from a previous trial run, it would have taken us almost 10 minutes to download 50 files without the web proxy. But with the web proxy, we did that in about 12 seconds. Or excuse me, I'm sorry, we did that in less than a minute, or wait a second, that can't be right. We did it really fast there, how about that? Oh, 27 seconds, excuse me. So yeah, what could have taken 10 minutes only took us 30 seconds. So very, very powerful, very useful. And yeah, thank you again for listening and watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.